Good morning, guys. I am back. I am going over worksheet 5.2. I know I posted the answers on Friday, but some of us need to see where the steps came from. So, let's look at this first one. Again, remember how I said sines and cosines, so let's put this to 1 over cosine. Tangent would then be sine over cosine. Those have, I didn't copy it right, tan x sine x. And then that would be sine over 1. Okay, these you can combine because they're multiplied. They do not need a common denominator. Nothing can cancel because the signs are up top. So you got 1 minus cosine minus sine squared over cosine. Common denominators, you get that. What is 1 minus sine over squared? 1 minus sine squared is cosine squared over cosine. We can cancel out a cosine, but we're proving and we're trying to get it to 1 over secant, and cosine is 1 over secant. Okay? So that is number 1. Number 2. Hopefully you all had a good weekend. Back at it. Hopefully you guys are getting better at trig identities. So we've got 1 plus cotangent x over sine x. Now, I'm going to write the other side for this. Guys, I get it. Sometimes it's hard to tell what to do next, okay? But if you look at this, notice the left side has a fraction, the right side doesn't. So we don't want this fraction. And guys, if you remember the other day, I mentioned sine in the bottom is the same as cosecant in top. Remember our reciprocal identities. 1 over sine is equal to cosecant. And that would be cosecant over 1. So sine in the bottom is the same as cosecant in the top. Okay? I know that can be confusing, but look at those reciprocal identities. So sine in the bottom is the same as cosecant in the top. But it's got to be multiplied by both of these. So I've got cosecant up there now. But I've still got that up there. Okay? So that's how I got the cosecant up there. Then I'm going to distribute cosecant plus cosecant cotangent. Now I'm going to do my sines and cosines. 1 over sine plus 1 over sine times cosine over sine. Okay? Again, you have to smush your multiplication together. Can anything cancel there? No, these are both on the bottom. You're going to smush it together. So that turns in, I'm going to run out of room here, to cosine over sine squared. Right? Wait, I think I messed up. I did. Darn it. This should be a cosine. Hey, it's just like we're in class. Yay. Except none of you guys are here to tell me I messed up. That's a cosine. Cosecant cosine. So that's cosine over 1. We don't want to do that. Because look at what. Okay. Rewind. Okay. 1 over cosine. We didn't need to do that because we're trying to get to this. So skip that too. Woo, good job, Miss B. So we've got cosecant. So we got that part. Now we need cotangent. This part right here is cosine over sine, which is cotangent. Okay? Sorry, that was my boo-boo. All right, just like old times. Just got to hang in there, guys. I know it's hard, but if we stick together and you guys just keep doing your work, The important thing is also to check your work, guys. So number 3, we've got secant up top, sine up top, tangent on the bottom plus cotangent on the bottom. Oh heavens. Okay, so I'm going to switch to sines and cosines and try to get common denominators and all that. So let's start with the top. Secant is the same as 1 over cosine up top times sine over 1. Okay, so right now we're just trying to simplify, get rid of some extra terms. This is sine over cosine, which is what, guys? Sine over cosine is tangent. So all this up here is tangent. So we get to that. I don't even think that's how I did it on the answer key, is it? No. It's not what I did on the answer key. I did the bottom. What did I do on the answer key? All right, let's just see what we can do here. This is sine. As I said, guys, we can do these differently. So I'm looking at my answer key, and I don't even know what the heck I'm doing. So let's look here. Tangent on top is the same as sine and cosine. I'm going to go back to that. These do not cancel. This is where some of you will try to cancel that. Cannot cancel that because of the plus. Tangent goes with the plus cotangent. Can't do it. So on the bottom, we're going to have sine over cosine plus cosine over sine. Okay? We are going to have to smush those together. Okay? Obviously, we're trying to get all this crap to be sine squared. So we got to get a bunch of stuff together. Okay? Common denominator here. Cosine sine. Cosine sine. Okay? So then we got to figure out, what did we multiply this by to get to the common denominator? Sine. Whatever you do to the bottom, you do to the top. There's our sine squared. Sine times what gets us that? Cosine. Cosine squared. All right. Now, we've got, this is still up top. What's sine squared plus cosine squared? 1. I'm going to start back up here. So right now, I've got sine cosine on the top. And then I've got 1 over cosine sine. Okay? So, that's where we're at. Okay, I added these, Pythagorean identity, 1 over that. Now I got a fraction over a fraction. We are going to multiply by the reciprocal. Whatever you do on top, got to do on bottom. This is gone down here. This is all you have left, and that's multiplication. So what can we cancel? We can cancel our cosines. And you are left with sine squared. That does not exactly match my answer key, but hopefully that helped. That was number 3. I don't know why I wrote 1 there. That was 3. Number 4 looks bad, but guys, if you recognize that you got a reciprocal identity there, it makes it a lot quicker. So 4, you've got secant over cosine minus tangent over cotangent. Okay? Reciprocal identities. Cosine in the bottom is the same as secant in the top. 1 over cosine is equal to secant. Okay? So cosine in the bottom is the same as secant in the top. So if you guys look at my answer key, I moved this up top and it turned it into a secant. And then you've got secant squared. Cotangent in the bottom, so 1 over cotangent is equal to tangent, which is tangent over 1. Cotangent in the bottom is the same as tangent in the top. Okay? So if you can recognize something like that, sometimes it makes some of these a lot quicker. And that's a Pythagorean identity. Secant squared minus tangent squared is 1. All right. Cruising along. Number 5. Number 5, let's see, we've got sine squared plus cotangent squared times sine squared equals 1. Again, we're going to switch all these to sines and cosines and see what can combine. Actually, that's not what I did. So I'm gonna do this different than the answer key. So what I did on the answer key, guys, I'm going to show both. And let's see if we can get it. I factored out a sine squared on these. Sine squared I factored out. There was a 1 plus a cotangent squared left. 1 plus cotangent squared is a Pythagorean identity. Cosecant squared. Cosecant squared is the same as 1 over sine squared, and then we cancel, and we got the 1. Now, a lot of you wouldn't see that. When I started it right now, I wasn't going to do it that way. So let's look. Everybody got that way? That's what my answer key gave you. Let's try it another way. I don't even have this way done, so let's see what we can do. Switch everything to sines and cosines. So we got sine squared over 1 plus cotangent is yeah. This way is good. Oh, yeah. This way is quicker. Actually, a lot of you might have seen this way even better. Because what can cancel right now, guys? Sine squareds these cannot cancel because of that plus. This is a multiply. That's one of the hard things with these trig identities. These can cancel. Now you have sine squared plus cosine squared, which is 1. Yeah, that way was a little quicker. Again, some of us will do these different ways, which is okay. Number 6. Number 6. Let's see what we got. Cosecant squared tan squared minus 1 equals tan squared. Now, some of you will look at this and try to think of a Pythagorean identity. You cannot do that, guys. Tangent squared is attached to cosecant squared. Okay, so we're going to switch them to sines and cosines and see what happens from there. 1 over sine squared. Tangent is sine squared over cosine squared. Minus 1 equals tangent squared. Okay? Now we look at this. We can cancel those sine squareds. 1 over cosine squared minus 1 equals tan squared. And then, stop. 1 over cosine squared. Okay, so we're approaching a Pythagorean identity, guys. You got to look at this. Look where we're trying to get. We got a squared and a minus 1. 1 over cosine squared is secant squared. And then if you look at that, Pythagorean identities, yay, we are done. All right, that's number 6. 2 more. All right. Number 7. We got secant squared over secant squared minus 1. Okay, this is a Pythagorean identity. Look at your little cheat sheet if you need to, and you end up with secant squared over tan squared. Okay? Now, you can turn this to sines and cosines right now. It's not wrong if you do that, but I just like to get rid of the fraction first, so I'm going to use my reciprocal identity. Tangent in the bottom is the same as cotangent up there. Okay? So right now I've got cotangent squared and secant squared. Now I'm going to put them in sines and cosines. I just don't like to do them in a fraction if I don't have to. So cosine squared over sine squared times 1 over cosine squared. And then what can cancel there? And you get 1 over sine squared. And what is 1 over sine squared? Cosecant squared. And we're done. Okay? Hopefully, guys, seeing these worked out is helping you. Again, Friday I gave you the answer key on paper. Some of you might not always understand the steps without being told what they are. Last one. 1 plus secant squared times 1 minus sine squared equals 2. All right. What do we want right now? Right now, I'm going to see this parenthesis separated. And that's a Pythagorean identity. 1 minus sine squared is cosine squared. Everybody see that? Okay. And then right here, this is the same as 1 over cosine squared. Okay. Those can cancel. Again, that doesn't give you 0. It gives you 1. And what's 1 plus 1? 2. All right. So, guys, hopefully that helped clarify some of the questions. If you still have questions, please let me know. I am giving you some more practice problems. What we will probably do at the end of this week, maybe Thursday. I haven't quite figured out how. But I would like to give some type of quiz just to kind of see how you guys are doing. It'll probably just be participation points. So it will be okay if you guys get some wrong. But I think it's good for us to kind of figure out where we're at, how you guys are doing. All right? Have a good day, and I will talk to you later.